I saw Moldia Shirinova again in the Kempinski Palace Hotel, Abu Dhabi. She was sitting in the lobby, fiddling with her phone, oblivious as I walked across. Only when I stood over her did she glance up into the golden world and clock me. "Oh, Mr. Nicholas, I'm sorry." She rose and I stepped back a little. "I was just texting Chopin. She's expecting you." I smiled. "Good to see you again, Moldia. It's been, what, 3 years?" She hadn't changed a bit. The same impeccable movement of her fingers, the lissom perfection beneath her slim blue dress, her silk-rode eyes. There was an awkward silence. "Please, we can go now." The smartphone Diamond Crypto from designer Peter Aloison is made of platinum and pink gold. It is covered with more than 80 brilliants. There are 50 brilliants on each side of the phone, including 10 blue brilliants, and the navigation button is surrounded by 28 brilliants. Price, $1.3 million. Moldia took me to Chopin's suite. It looked out over the dead white glare of the beach and the flat turquoise gulf beyond. It's funny, but I had always felt a Benjamin Braddock to Chopin Baisakova's Mrs. Robinson, which was, of course, ridiculous. After all, there had been no affair, just the hint of lupine despair somewhere behind her eyes and in the clink of ice cubes bobbing against crystal. "She will come soon. Please, can you wait?" "Of course." The two of us glanced round the opulent space. "It's okay. I'll sit here." Moldia looked as if she might have replied, but her phone took her attention away, and she was gone, responding to a silent voice in her own quiet Russian. She wandered back to the front door, and she left me there to wait. Tequila Lay have sold a platinum and white gold bottle of tequila to a private collector from Mexico City at the price of $225,000. The drink was made from 100% blue agave juice matured for 6 years. Those who cannot afford the platinum bottle might like to opt for the gold and platinum bottle at $150,000 or the silver and gold for $25,000. It was late afternoon before Mrs. Baisakova arrived and met with me. She offered a brief excuse. Actually, I felt more annoyed with Moldia and recalled how it often worked like that. "Have you eaten?" she asked. The question was rhetorical, and I glanced at Moldia, who had followed the oligarch's wife into the reception room and now hovered at the doors. Perhaps there had been a discourtesy. Mrs. Baisakova smiled suddenly. Shopping bags were arriving, and Moldia turned to deal with the hotel's butler. "Well, Mr. Nicholas, I am so glad you came. I enjoyed our discussions before. That book. Where was it now?" "West Egg, Long Island in America," I replied, mischievously recondite. "St. Moritz. Yes, I remember now. Do please sit. Let me order you something. I don't know why Moldia didn't arrange lunch for you. You must be famished." "Moldia?" More bags were arriving. I protested. It was fine. I wasn't hungry. The box of sweets by Le Chocolat includes selected chocolate masterpieces from the world's best confectioners. It is also a set of luxury jewelry made of natural yellow and blue brilliants, emeralds and sapphires from Simon's. Simply an invaluable gift for $1.5 million. "Please." Mrs. Baisakova gestured again, so I sat. The lounge was too large, and we glanced at each other as if across a marina, yacht to yacht. "Did you read the book?" I asked. "Would you like a drink, Mr. Nicholas?" Without waiting for my response, Mrs. Baisakova seemed to walk away. She glanced over her shoulder. "We Kazakhs are big drinkers, Mr. Nicholas. You remember, right?" She smiled and frowned, fussed over at the minibar, and returned with one vodka. "Yes, I did. Were you trying to tell me something?" She sat down. "I don't know. Not really. I thought it might appeal." Chopin gave a desolate laugh. Scott Fitzgerald and Lowry. A few white clouds were racing windily after a pale gibbous moon. "Drink all morning," they said to him. "Drink all day. This is life." She raised her vodka. The ice tinkled like tiny bells. I leaned as far forward as I could. So you liked Under the Volcano? The hand was lowered, and Mrs. Bysakova sighed and leaned away. I'm sorry I was late. The traffic from Dubai was dreadful. How do people live in Dubai? It's a shopping mall full of corpses. I liked our chats before. A little culture can't do any harm, can it? Number, I suppose not. The Yalo's Diamond LCD TV will cost you $130,000, but it's definitely worth it. The case is covered in white gold and decorated with brilliance in 20 carats. What else is needed for an eternity of happiness? But the women, Mr. Nicholas. To be run over by a car is plausible, but a horse? I hardly think so. Only an alcoholic would kill off his women with such impatience. Yes, I enjoyed your book, Mr. Nicholas. It was a good choice. Chopin closed her eyes. Shall I get my copy? I'd like to ask you some questions, Mr. Nicholas, about the ending. I have some notes. Please, let me get them. Then, like a somnambulist, she suddenly rose and made to leave me, but paused. Her shoulders sagged, and the glass in her hand threatened to capsize. No se puede vivir sin amar. Oh, Mr. Nicholas, we are buried in ashes. Now you can indulge yourself with a platinum kitten, 3.8 centimeters in width and 5.6 centimeters in height, and weighing 590 grams. The tiny figurine of Hello Kitty is decorated with bows from precious stones, brilliants, rubies, pink sapphires, amethyst, and blue topazes. For this beauty, you will have to pay just $163,000.